In the heart of the city, where the rich and powerful live in grand mansions, there was one house that stood above the rest. This was the home of Mr. Desmond, a billionaire known for his wealth and influence. But inside this mansion, behind the polished walls and sparkling windows, there was a secret. A secret that would soon turn everything upside down. Cheek was just a houseboy, a young man from a poor village who had come to the city looking for a better life. He worked hard, cleaning, cooking, and doing whatever was asked of him. To the outside world, Cheeky was just a servant, but inside, he dreamed of more. He wanted to escape poverty and live a life of luxury, just like the people he served. Mrs. Clara, the billionaire's wife, was a woman of beauty and elegance, but her heart was as cold as ice. She treated everyone around her, including Cheeky, with a sense of superiority. But as days passed, she began to notice Cheeky's quiet charm and his strong, handsome features, and something inside her started to change. It began with simple glances, small moments when their eyes would meet. Cheek, despite his humble position, felt the tension between them. He knew that crossing the line could cost him everything, but the attention from Mrs. Clara was impossible to ignore. Over time, those glances turned into conversations. Mrs. Clara found herself drawn to Cheek's simplicity and honesty, something she had not seen in the world of wealth and lies she lived in. She started spending more time with him, talking about things she never shared with her husband. One night, under the light of the full moon, Cheek and Mrs. Clara's connection deepened. What started as a forbidden attraction grew into something more, a secret love that neither of them could deny. But this love was dangerous, and they both knew it. Mr. Desmond was a busy man, always focused on his business deals and growing his empire. He had no idea what was happening right under his nose. To him, his wife was just another part of his perfect life, a life that was about to crumble. Cheek and Mrs. Clara's affair became more intense, more passionate. They stole moments whenever they could, hiding their love from the rest of the world. But as their love grew, so did Cheek's ambition. He realized that Mrs. Clara could be the key to the life he always dreamed of. Cheek knew that to truly escape his life of poverty, he needed more than just love. He needed money, power. And so, he began to plan. Blinded by love, Mrs. Clara trusted Cheek completely. She began giving him access to places in the mansion that were off limits, believing that their love would protect them from any consequences. But Cheek had other plans. He listened carefully to Mrs. Clara's complaints about her husband, learning everything he could about Mr. Desmond's business and wealth. One night, while the house was quiet and everyone was asleep, Cheek made his move. He sneaked into Mr. Desmond's office, using the keys Mrs. Clara had given him. He opened the safe and took everything he could, money, documents, anything that would give him the power he craved. The next morning, the news spread like wildfire. Mr. Desmond's fortune was gone, stolen in the night. His business deals collapsed, and his reputation was shattered. He had no idea who had done this to him, but the damage was irreversible. Mrs. Clara was heartbroken. She realized too late that Cheek had used her, that their love was nothing more than a means to an end for him. Cheek took everything and disappeared, leaving her to pick up the pieces of her shattered life. But as Cheek disappeared into the city, thinking he had escaped his past, someone else was watching. Someone who knew the truth about what he had done. And as Cheek moved forward, a shadow from his past was closing in, ready to turn his new life upside down. What will happen next? Will Cheeky truly escape, or will his past catch up with him? This is just one of the many tales that lie hidden in the shadows. If you want to hear more stories like this, subscribe to African Mystic Folktales.